board. There's a high registration of income increase, job creation, thereby reducing poverty among the disability society. We have also seen that they are empowered, they are taking responsibility over their economic lives, they are making their own decisions, and they have become contributors to their communities. Also, there's great inclusion, and World Vision is helping in challenging stigma and stereotypes that surround disability. Successful businesses, of course, are role models to others that are wishing to be a part, and they're getting encouraged to do so. We have also, as World Vision, contributed greatly to an inclusive and equitable market ecosystem. In the picture in 2023, we see Clement, who at the point was almost losing his family, which got disintegrated because he had no resources to take care of the family, take the children to school. But by supplying, and up to 2024, in the other side of the picture, we see him coming back a different person, very lively, who is testifying about the growth of his business and how that his family has come back together because he's earning an income and is able to take care of them. And the sustainability of the program is such that there's inclusive and accessible practices that World Vision is committed to. And so this is bringing about reduced stigma and discrimination against persons with disability. There is also empowerment in entrepreneurs with disabilities to start and grow their own businesses, which is leading to increased revenue generation and financial stability. World Vision has also gone into partnerships and collaborations with government and persons with disability organization, which is providing a stronger foundation for sustainability and scalability. Our next steps are to expand the projects. We hope that we'll take it to the rest of the regions within the country and also to the countries that World Vision work in for adaptation to local contexts and needs. We are also trying to reach more entrepreneurs with disabilities by providing them with training and further support for those that are already on board. We also are hoping for the future to document and share lessons learned, best practices, and success stories. This will contribute greatly to the knowledge base on disability inclusion and entrepreneurship. At this point, I want to say thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Doreen. It's really incredible and fantastic how an organization that is committed to persons with disabilities in their everyday work, in all they do, manages to implement this also in their suppliers. So this can be a simple trick that can really advance entrepreneurship in many occasions and provide these entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs with sort of record that they can show then to other businesses they want to supply. So really fantastic, thank you. And now we move on to our last speaker of this panel, who is Emile Cadet Vuningabo from NUDOR, National Union of Disability Organizations in Rwanda. Their program is called Save and Invest for Your Bright Future, and was also awarded, as all the projects on this panel, for the Zero Project Award 2025.
Thank you, Maria. Good afternoon. So I'd like to share with you the impact of this particular project. As he mentioned, that I'm Emile Vuningabo from Rwanda. So I work for NUDOR. NUDOR is the National Union of Disability Organization in Rwanda. So I'm the head of programs. Let me just maybe give you a background of what is NUDOR. NUDOR as an umbrella, we have a vision where persons with disabilities, we enjoy equal human rights and opportunities and full participation as other citizens. And we all do also have a mission where we serve as a voice of our member organizations to advocate for disability rights, inclusion for all aspects of life, and their full and effective engagement in sustainable development program. need to also bring together the all 15 organizations to work as a voice to advocate for their rights. Save and Invest for a Bright Future is a project that actually started in 2022 in partnership with CBM. And it was actually capturing the whole impact in 4 areas. One was about skill development and business training. The second was about access to capital in terms of financial services, and also moving at creating their own employment, like running different income-related activities, and also engaging other companies to have wage employment. So far we have, up to 2024, we have created around 750 village savings and loan groups with around 22,617 members. And of course, if you look at the members, women are many, around 57%, and men, they are around 42.5%. And persons with disabilities, they are 90%. But we're now also promoting the inclusion, so 10% is persons without disability. On the skill development, here we mention some examples where we do work with youth with disabilities who to attend the TVET. TVET is about Technical Vocational Training Centers to acquire the employment opportunities like entrepreneurship skills for them to create their own jobs. We already achieved around 2,268 youth. If you look at the picture there, we have 2 pictures on slides. One picture is explaining about 2 youth with physical disability who are doing the tailoring machine, like tailoring activity, and have been able to start their own employment. And there's another guy there with hearing impairment who have been able to start wedding business after being, acquire skills on wedding. On access to capital, here we look at the members, as I mentioned above, who access the internal savings, like the loans from their own savings in the groups of around between 25 to 30 people, and then invest in their own businesses. You can see the other picture where there's a woman with the yellow T-shirt as an MTN agent who are running businesses on transaction money via mobile money with the clients. And the members have been able to access the financial services internal, but also in different microfinance in partnership with Access to Finance Rwanda and microfinance banks. So if you look at the next slide, in terms of creating their own jobs, we've been able to mobilize youth, as I mentioned, where in total members, 64% have been able to be trained in farming, climate change, adaptive practices, and they have been able to run the agribusiness within their community. For example, in agriculture activities, livestock, so been able to now to run and also get more profit in that particular project. So we also engage in providing training to beekeepers on modern beekeeping, and 100% of members who have been trained, they have been able to secure their internal savings and loans, and also start their own businesses on beekeeping. As an impact, after the project, we have been able to engage other partners like USAID, and to also scale up, to also start the same beekeeping project in other districts where the project was not even operating. And 42% of the members have been able to improve their livelihood, and also through the investment they have done in different projects within their community. On wage employment, in partnership with, as I said, in CBM and Light for the World, UNDP, and MTN Rwanda and Bank of Kigali, we've been able to engage them to create their wage employment, where, for example, if you look at that picture, there's a lady with coffee, cup of coffee. She's actually enjoying the coffee there, but she's a very good barista. So we worked with Starboard Coffee as a coffee company to provide employment opportunities to the ladies who have hearing impairments. So it's one of the examples. And also Jean-Paul, the guy who is there, has been able to work in the OPDs, like organization of persons with disabilities, in terms of how can we support others to remove the barriers and also give them opportunities on employment. So we've been able to achieve 20% of youth with disabilities who have got wage employment in different companies, UN agencies, government institutions, and OPDs. So I think that's all my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Emile, for this presentation and for presenting your microfinance program. So I would like to open to the audience if you have any questions. Yes, please.
Thank you for the presentations. As Doreen mentioned, gender was an issue at one point. And I was thinking, it's probably not just disabilities that makes people difficult to get employment or get a job or training. How do you deal with this intersectionality? It could be age, race, neurotypes. I'm curious how you are dealing with it. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Actually, what we do is use the same people who have registered to be our advocates for change. So they know their fellow colleagues in the communities where they come from more than we do. So as World Vision, we just facilitate in terms of maybe transport, a meeting place, and sometimes when there's need for engaging government to bridge the gap, we do that. So usually World Vision is just a facilitator. Otherwise, the ones who do the work is the persons themselves who are registered. Thank you.
Thank you, Doreen, and thank you for the question. Is there any other questions? Otherwise, I can ask some of mine. Okay, so I have a question for you, Daniel. Yep. So you mentioned that the in-business livelihood model depends on caregivers to assist with the daily operations of the business, depending on the severity of the micro-entrepreneur's disability. How do you ensure that the caregiver provides support without fully taking over the business?
Thank you. Yes, it's true. A little bit, around 70% of micro-entrepreneurs with disability in this particular program actually depend on the caregiver for day-to-day support in running their business. And as I said, this program was coming from a scale or from a pilot project. And one of the actually lessons learned from that pilot project is that the caregivers were going over and almost taking up the business and almost not communicating what the micro-entrepreneur with disabilities wanted. So in this scale project, we had some very deliberate objectives on engaging the families more in terms of training, in terms of ensuring that they understand that this is not your business, this is the business of your maybe if it's a family member or it's your son or daughter, and also being able to involve the micro-entrepreneur in whatever capacity they can. Some have got so severe disabilities that maybe all that they can do is come sit on the side of the business as the parent takes care of that. So it's all about, do you want us to do this? Yes or no? But now through intensive training and engagement with the family members, they have been able now to communicate a little bit more the needs of the people with disabilities.
Thank you very much. I think this is an extremely important component of the program. So my next question would be to Emile. What are the key strategies that your program uses to ensure that entrepreneurship support is inclusive and accessible for persons with disabilities?
Thank you for the question. I would answer that the key strategy that we really use, the first one is about tailoring the capacity strengthening that we provide. So we do a lot of work about capacity building of members or like people with disabilities, looking at the entrepreneurship program, which is more adapted to the needs of people with disability that we are serving. And also looking at the financial inclusion. How are we trying to make sure that the financial services is more accessible to them? And how are we engaging the microfinance, the banks, to provide this particular opportunity to them to be able to acquire, like borrowing money to the bank and also repayments. We also do like a lot of work on mentorship and coaching to make sure they're really able to apply, like they run the business they are really requested the loan for. Because if you give them money as a loan, then you don't even to follow up. So of course they will somehow deviate to use the loan from other businesses. So we coach them on having business idea, the plan, and how you're trying to make sure that you are using the loans that you have requested for. Last one I think is more about linkage, the market linkage. For example, the beekeepers, for example, we link them with the companies, the export companies who are going to buy their product in the community, be able to put in the market. So we create like market with the companies who are really expert on that and see how they can buy their own product. But also we are advocacy. We do a lot of advocacy work in terms of policy change. So we do work with the government to influence the policies, the programs to make it more inclusive to persons with disabilities. Yeah.
Thank you, Emile, for this very detailed and concrete answer. This is definitely what we need. My next question would be for Carolina. So you mentioned that your model can be replicated by companies, governments, and international organizations. At the Zero Project, we are very interested, as I mentioned before, in scaling solutions across regions. What is your strategy? Okay. It's okay. Okay, it's okay, understood. So if you can repeat, so your strategy is to? Okay. Making processes more standard, so to standardize processes so that they can be replicated across regions.
Yes. And then nosotros trabajamos con KPIs de control y seguimiento constante de nuestros aprendizajes.
Okay. So you work with constant following up of all the different parts of your program.
Yes.
Okay.
And the accessibility, la accesibilidad is so important. And nosotros desarrollamos.
The mic.
Y nosotros desarrollamos estrategias para que todo lo que hacemos sea accesible para personas con cualquier tipo de discapacidad.
So you develop your programs and so that they are accessible for people with any disability. Thank you. Doreen, my last question is to you. So you mentioned that you run your program through WhatsApp.
Yes.
With the entrepreneurs. I remember this since you nominated, I read your project, and it really hit me that you were working with WhatsApp because it's such a simple trick and accessible to anyone. So how secure is using a WhatsApp group when having this kind of activity with businessmen and women in the group?
Thank you. So I must mention here that the people that are members of the WhatsApp group are those who we have scrutinized and we have ensured that their businesses are legally registered with government. We have helped some to register their businesses and that they meet the criteria with World Vision. And so the admins of the WhatsApp are World Vision staff, myself and my colleague who is a procurement person within World Vision. And we have put the settings such that only the administrators have access to posting. And so when the businessmen and women see what we post, for instance, a request, we have ensured that they have email. We assist them to post their quotations through email and not through WhatsApp. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doreen, and thank you everyone, all our 5 awardees who presented today, 4 here and 1 online. I hope that you could learn from them and maybe you can continue conversations outside and see how you can replicate something like this, or you can help them scale and be even more impactful to advance the lives and legal rights of persons with disabilities. Okay. Thank you very much.